All right, guys. So the 1-ton's in here and everything's cut loose. As you can see, this time I elected to pull the core support and the passenger fender to slip the core support out. Since we're pulling this motor out and going back with one, I didn't want to have to jack it so tilt and then slip it down in there at such a high pitch like this to get the motor back in and set. This way it's almost, it's just a slight tilt right in, bam, set down. So it should be able to come out a lot easier and go in a lot easier and faster and a lot cleaner install. All right, guys, so this is the motor we're going back in with, and as you can see over there, I bought a bunch more parts. While I got this motor down, I happen to have on hand a high volume, heavy duty oil pump that was brand spanking new. So I'm going to go ahead and change it. While I got it on the ground, I'm going to go ahead and change the timing chain in it because it's got about 80,000 miles on this timing chain. So we want to go ahead and get it out. It should change it at 100,000 anyway. So while it's down, we're going to go ahead and change that so the timing's all done. And then all the new seals, front seals, and then order new rear seal for it. So basically what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go through and change everything that should be changed at high mileage, at 100,000 miles or anything like that, get it all taken care of. Unfortunately, I ordered a clutch for hauling. And because I ordered such a heavy duty clutch, it's gonna be Wednesday until they get it in. So I have to wait until Wednesday. So in the meantime, since we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and just dress everything up on this thing and get it completely ready. And that way, when that new clutch comes in, as well as the exhaust donut gaskets for the exhaust pipes on the manifold, they didn't have them in stock. They had to order them. And a couple of other little parts that they had ordered that they just didn't have in stock. So by the time all that comes in Wednesday, we'll have everything else ready to go. All cleaned up, dressed up, all redone, and ready to rip. I also got a new power steering pump for this one because this power steering pump was leaking on the seal where it assembles to the reservoir. And apparently they have ran it low a few times or more than a few times because it whines now even when it's full. And considering that my brakes on that 1-ton is hydro boost brakes, meaning they work off the power steering pressure, it's not a vacuum, I want this pump working properly. Because that's my braking system that assists me when I'm trying to stop a load. So I went ahead and just got a lifetime warranty power steering pump for it. As you can see here, there is no vacuum booster on there. As you see, the power steering lines going to it, feeding it, and that comes back to the gearbox here. So the power steering pump actually will hook, one line hooks to it, and then one line hooks to the cooler here, feeding it through the system, and then it comes back. It's a 3-line pump. We're also, while we got this down, we're going to clean all of this, get all this cleaned up, get all this crap off of here so this thing is easy to work on, and I ain't got all this stuff falling in my face when I'm rehooking everything back up on this thing while I'm underneath it. Change all the stuff I need changed. That way when I go back with this motor, everything should be worrisome free, Lord's willing, for a long time. I should be able to get another 100,000 miles out of it without a problem. The compression on this motor is, above excellent. Everything, the oil pressure on this thing was running, and now with that high volume oil pump, it's going to run even better oil pressure on it. So we'll have it all nice and dressed. So when this thing hits the road again, we're good to go. Also ordered wheel spacers for the tires. The original owner had dual tires on this thing, and the tires were too big, and sidewalls were literally not just hitting, they were together. In fact, when I jacked up to do the brakes and pulled it off, I had to separate the two tires because both of them came off at the same time on each side because they've been stuck together so long. Thank God they're 10-ply sidewalls, or he'd have lost them tires a long time ago. So I got 2-inch wheel spacers coming that go between the tires and give me that spacing. So that way, from now on, no matter what I do, I can go from 285s down to 215s, anywhere in there. So whatever tires are on sale or whatever size, I need for the load, that's what I'll be able to put on this thing because I'll have the equipment now to go through a variety of sizes of tires. So we're not going to have it done in 3 days, unfortunately, but heck, we're making strides on it. So, all right, well, I will get back to you on the next step. All right, guys, so we're into the timing chain cover, and I just want to show y'all something. When I first bought this truck, the 93, I had to do a little bit of work on it. So I bought the more expensive oil pan gasket. And when I say more expensive, I mean a heck of a lot more expensive. But the reason is because like right here, these brass insert, these expensive gaskets, you can pull this oil pan down multiple times with this gasket and it reseal every single time. And that's why I bought it. I don't have to spend the money again on another oil pan gasket for this thing. So that's the nice thing about these. Also, I'm also glad I decided to do the timing chain on this thing because look at that, guys. And now this is your slack side. This is your tension side. You don't want that slack past the center point on this thing. You want from here, from this point here on this side, this should all be real taut, real tight. And you should have a little slack here, but not nowhere near this much. So this chain has been stretched out, and it's a good thing because it's time to change it. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna align or get our timing marks aligned before I pull the old assembly off. That way I can just slide the new assembly right back on there, the gears and that, bolted on with timing chain that, and it'll all be timed up. All right, guys, so we got the new timing gears on and the new timing chain in, and I want to show y'all the difference. Now, the marks are just a tad bit off now because I just put up my slack out of it, but there's my mark for this one, which is straight up, and this one here is 12 o'clock, and this one here on the cam is 6 o'clock. And look at chains torqued here. Look how much movement is here, and then this is our slack side, and look at that movement compared to the other chain. The other chain was way out here, coming way off the gears. Like I said, look at no movement way at the top on this thing. No slack at all, no slack even on this side of it, which is our relaxed side. And same thing here, just no slack at all. And that's how it should be. So I'm glad I went ahead and did this. All right, guys, as you can see, we got the other motor in. We did a lot of cleanup work and, you know, I painted the pulleys and stuff like that while we had it off in the water pump and all that. Brackets and that, just kind of cleaned it up a bit, and we're going to clean up the rest of the motor once it's all said and done. We'll clean up a lot of the frame. Core support back in, headlights back on, wiring harness ran, fender back on. You know, we're just doing the little stuff now, you know, getting everything hooked up. All right, guys, so we got it in. We lost 4 days to rain. We just had to re-drop the distributor and time it. The distributor was off, so I re-dropped it back on number 1. And we just timed it. As you can see, the timing light here. We haven't plugged back in the computer yet. We're just letting it run and make sure it reaches body temp and check that timing again. Don't worry about that little bit of smoke. That was some oil that is spilt on the exhaust. It will burn off. But yeah, she's running really, really smooth. Got the new exhaust in. She sounds a heck of a lot better. Let her reach temp, and then we're going to check the timing one more time. And then I'm going to shut it down and then lock everything down. Put the breather in that on. Clear the computer, plug in the, whenever you're timing a 350 in these 90 models, you have to unplug this wire right here. And you have to unplug it and set it at 0, which I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but let's see. I got some liquid paper and filled the groove in so that you can see the white line real easy. And yeah, so she's running really smooth. Really smooth. Oil pressure has been about 60. When it first starts up about 65, and then as she warms up, it comes down to about 40. But as soon as you hit the gas, she shoots right back up to 60. I am happy with it. That's what I was saying about this motor, and you can hear the cam in there, that little low, and no leaks underneath. Thermostat just opened up, so now we're making sure that there's no air left in the block. She opened up a couple times. We ran it a couple times yesterday. But yeah, now let's kill it. Let me pull the battery cable on that. Let me check my timer one more time. We're still on the mark. All right, so now we're gonna kill it. Pull the, disconnect the battery so we can clear the codes in the computer and get it out of default. Plug that back in for the time in advance and that. And then put the breather and everything on, lock down the distributor, put the breather and everything on, and then she should be good to go. We'll check the timing after that.